Hello, and welcome to the Bookish Cafe. Today, we are excited to discuss one of the most iconic and influential dystopian novels of all time, 1984 by George Orwell. Written in 1949, 1984 is a classic example of how literature can serve as a warning against the dangers of totalitarianism and the importance of freedom of thought and expression. 1984 is set in a dystopian society where the government, led by the enigmatic figure of Big Brother, has complete control over every aspect of its citizens' lives. The novel follows the protagonist, Winston Smith, a member of the Outer Party who works for the Ministry of Truth, where he is tasked with altering historical records to match the party's. Winston secretly despises the party and begins to keep a diary where he writes his rebellious thoughts. He meets Julia, a fellow party member who shares his views, and they start a secret relationship. They eventually join a subversive organization called the Brotherhood, led by the mythical figure of Emmanuel Goldstein, which aims to overthrow the party. However, their plans are foiled by the Thought Police, and Winston is brutally tortured until he betrays Julia and confesses to crimes he did not commit. The novel ends with Winston's complete and utter submission to the party's ideology, with him even learning to love Big Brother. Orwell's vision of a totalitarian society, where the government has absolute control over its citizens, is both terrifying and prophetic. The novel's themes of propaganda, censorship, and thought control are still relevant today and remain a warning against the dangers of authoritarianism in any form. Throughout the novel, Orwell shows how language can be manipulated to control and manipulate people. In the world of 1984, the government's propaganda machine is constantly at work, spreading lies and falsehoods to keep the population in a state of perpetual fear and subjugation. Moreover, the novel also explores the power of technology and surveillance. The party uses telescreens to monitor its citizens' every move, and the Thought Police are always on the lookout for any signs of dissent or rebellion. The idea that technology can be used to monitor and control people is particularly relevant today, as we see governments around the world using surveillance technology to track their citizens. In conclusion, 1984 is a timeless masterpiece that highlights the dangers of totalitarianism and the importance of freedom of thought and expression. The novel's themes are still relevant today, and it serves as a warning against the dangers of authoritarianism in any form. Orwell's vision of a world where the government has complete control over its citizens is both terrifying and thought-provoking. The novel highlights the importance of individualism and the need for people to have the freedom to think and express themselves freely. The Bookish Cafe highly recommends 1984 to anyone interested in exploring the darker side of human nature and the power of language and propaganda. We hope you enjoyed our discussion of this classic novel, and we look forward to seeing you again soon at the Bookish Cafe.